So welcome back to the final segment of BFA's On The Ball. Right, finally, we did get some action. The weather kind of beat us. We got 3 matches, took place down at Wanstead. Unfortunately, they were just all First Division games. No Premiership games took place. Same thing as last year happened. Abahani, if you're out there watching, FC Bengals made the effort to come down to play the game. And first thing in the morning, 10 o'clock, and yet again, Abahani not there, no show. So game was abandoned, and so the result goes to FC Bengals. So the only game of the day in the Premiership, FC Bengals, without playing, continue to win. So they carry on with their 100% record. Well done, guys. I know you're not happy that you didn't get a game. It's not nice when you make the effort to come down. Once you're there, you want to play, don't you? So, Abahani, naughty. I'm sure you're going to be getting some letters in the post and a fine with that too. Okay, so let's talk about and let's see the results, I guess. We can go straight to the results from today down at CFL and Wanstead. They'll be on your screen shortly. I will run you through the results. Premiership, as I've already mentioned, there were no games. Abahani, like I say, didn't show, so FC Bengal take them points. They continue their 100% record. The First Division games, there were some good games and some interesting results. The first one, Elsa. We had Iqbal on last week, hoping to change the trend. Yet again, he lost, keeps on losing now. It went good run in between, losing 7-1 to my tips at the beginning of the season to take the First Division. Aberfeldy winning 7-1, finding real good form just in time for the cup as well. And the big result of the day, the team of the moment, we were begging you guys to get a result. If you could keep a clean sheet, you're going to win a result. You're going to win a game. So IFE winning 4-1 against Poplar, well done. And Brick Lane, I guess a really close game going on here, 4-3 against Seoul. So they continue winning, still stay top. Let's look at the league table. And as you can see, Brick Lane, thank you to Shaquille from Brick Lane, who was very kindly did the results and the league table today. Appreciate that. So if you want to see a match report from Brick Lane's game between Seoul today, get on Facebook and I'm sure you will see a brilliant write-up as ever. Brick Lane top on 27 points, followed closely by Newark, who didn't play today, on 22 points, so they have a game in hand. Aberfeldy creeping up as well, also a game in hand on 21 points, only 1 point behind Newark, so it's looking very tight at the top there. At the bottom, well done. IFE finally off the mark with their win today. Really pleased. And you know what? I guess there's nowhere better to start our proceedings in this final segment than IFE. I know the 3 of you were there today. Faisal, you were there refereeing the game, or you were watching the game. Sanabhai was refereeing the game, I think.
That's correct,
today. What was the difference today? Faisal, you saw 20 minutes of it. What was the difference?
I thought, well, they played with 10 men to start off with.
Okay.
The whole game?
The whole game 10 men. They wanted it more than
Poplar did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were hungry on the pitch. You could tell, even from the start, they were wasting time as soon as they got 1 goal. So it was that sort of game. They wanted that win so bad that,
Okay, our pep talks are working. IFE, you owe me one. Sanabhai, you were refereeing the game. Tell us a bit about what your take on it. Did they have 10 men because literally they didn't show up? Or?
Short players.
Okay.
It was one of those games where they didn't have enough players turning up. Having said that, they equipped themselves really well. They actually took 2-0 lead within quick time, within 10-15 minutes. And they set back a bit and made sure they did not concede any possession in terms of in their own half. So anything that came through, they made sure they won the tackles, getting rid of the ball. Yes, wasting time you could say, but I'll say that's good play in terms of if you have a lead, protect it. So they've done that job really well. There were times where they probably could have hurried it up a bit more, but you can't blame them for that.
Yeah.
They're going for their first points, and they were in that position. I think they had a brilliant game. As Faisal said, they really wanted it. They really were focused on it. They thought, okay, 2-0 up, we are going to give it all, and they did give it all.
Yeah.
Poplar did not play to the level I've seen them play, but no disrespect to sort of IFE. They done. There's all credit goes to them because they did not let Poplar play. Poplar couldn't actually get onto the ball and pass it around. Normally they can do that quite well, but today it seems like IFE was all over them. So every time they had the ball, they were closing them down, getting the ball out, regrouping. So they were done a brilliant job overall.
Okay, IFE, you're a man down. You're struggling for players. I know a certain gentleman in this room right here, right now, who has been injured, ex-pro, played semi-pro football, wants to get back into football. Our very own David. David, you fancy coming back in December? They need a player. They need one player.
What time kickoffs?
Kickoffs are, we have loads of kickoffs. We have, you're going to be struggling. We do a 10, we do a 10, we do a 12, and we do a 2 o'clock. So, register for IFE. This guy's an ex-pro, guys. Look, listen, I'm the man. I'm your little agent here. I'm getting your results now. All I said was keep it clean. And you're nearly there. We said last week.
We did.
We did say. We said if we
shut
could,
up shop at the back.
If they could shut shop at the back, because they were last 3 weeks on the trot. They've lost by the odd goal, haven't they?
Goal, yeah.
So
against Newark, they nearly had that point.
Yeah.
But we scored on the last minute.
There you go.
And the striker, Ruel, who's told me to mention his name, he scored the 2 goals today in that game. So they won against Poplar. So
brilliant.
All credits to him.
Because I was speaking to Akram by the manager. I mean, he's got a lot of hats. He's with a lot of teams, but just to find out what's changed, because it's been a few weeks where we've been talking about them saying surely they can do something. When we played them at the beginning of the season, it's like first half, they feel like a really good team. You feel like they're quite organised. By the second half kicks in, you can see fitness has just completely gone out of the window. They can't keep up. The gaps opening up everywhere. I think they've been really working hard on fitness. Akram Bai's been mentioning they're training together as a team now as well, which has had a big difference, and it clearly shows. I mean, we've seen Poplar play, and they can play football. And if they can do that with 10 men, after their season so far, they've not won a single game the whole season. So to do that with 10 men, I think hats off to them, man.
And the other thing is they're quite organised on the pitch and vocal.
Yep.
So communication-wise, they're really doing it on the pitch. Although they're lacking ability, but today it showed. I mean, they put it all together.
Well, that's good. Well, your meals must be good. Semi-football's not. You can talk to each other. That's always a good thing. I'm coming out on a meal for you guys, meal night. Seriously, do you fancy playing?
It's about time at the minute.
I know, but are you looking to get back into the game?
I am, but it is seriously about time. It's about the future now. For me. I mean, so if I can play, if I can help out, if it's 10 o'clock kickoff, I might play, but committing every single week, I can't do that because I've got the under-9s to think about.
Under 11s, he's got the under 11s. But there you go. Listen, you need the odd player. He's round the corner. He's in Newbury Park. If he's not kicking off, get him. You guys are gonna fly up the table, and we're watching. We're keeping out. Well done, guys. I know Samsul also a big shout out to him as well. He contacted me straight away. He's not in town. Another northern brother. He's in Manchester today. He was on the old text and texted me. They got the first result. So well done to IFE. Really, really happy for you guys. But on a serious note, if you need a player, this is your man here. Right, so let's move on. Other results today. We had
Brick Lane and Seoul.
Brick Lane, big game.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't have expected on paper that to be such a tight game.
Last game, I think it finished 6-3 when they last met each other. So it was a high-scoring game then. But even then, it was tight until probably the last 10 minutes, if I recall. And I think Brick Lane ran away with it. But Seoul seemed to be the kind of team that lets the opposition take the lead, and they like to come from behind every single game. I think even with us, we were 2-0 up against them, and then it finished 3-3, I believe. But yeah, they're a strong team in that respect. I think Shakir was telling me they scored in the first minute, Brick Lane. So they scored very, very early on. And then the whole half just finished off, I think 1-0 it was. And it's everything happened in the second half. Seoul got the equaliser. I think it was a deflected goal or something, but a goal's a goal at the end of the day. And then Brick Lane stepped up the game again, went up to 4-1. But again, Seoul doing what they do really well. I don't know how they do it. They just keep coming back with more goals.
Well, you say that about Seoul, but what I'm saying is Brick Lane over the last few weeks, they seem to have an issue at the back. We talk about IFE, but Brick Lane as well is another issue. I know, so you must have seen them play. So I know you've refed them surely. Do they have a weakness at the back?
Yes.
They obviously do.
No, they do. They know they do as well. I mean, when I speak to Shakil, he says the weakest part of their team is their defence. I think midfield attack is awesome. It's really good.
Lacking pace.
I think defensively they do lack in pace, but their attack and midfield, they've got pace all over the park there, definitely.
Okay, and that's why with that in mind, though, with regards to cup games coming up on the 7th of December, we've got, a couple of weeks away?
Yep.
They've got E7 in the quarter-final. Faisal, you know a lot of both teams. You ref both of them in terms of that is going to be their week. If they can stop them scoring, they stand every chance of winning, don't they?
Yeah, E7's a very attacking team, so if they can stop them, then there might be a result on the card.
Well, you speak to Shaquille a lot.
Yep.
Have they got anything in the bag? Are they signing, expecting to sign anyone?
They haven't mentioned anything to me with regards to signings at all there in time. But I think they're happy with the football they're playing, and I think they're kind of, it's kind of like that Barcelona kind of thing. It's like, you can score that many passes, we'll score a few more of you, and I think they've done that.
Yeah, definitely. The results would suggest that.
Kind of suggests that.
Well, it's more exciting like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then again,
I don't know, but does a team like that, David, in your experience, let's go back to the Premiership, and does a team that scores goals but leaks so many at the back?
You've got to identify your strengths, really. You've got to play to your strengths. And if that's your strength, you've got to play to it and hope it works out.
Can you continue to win games 4-3, 5-4, 6-5?
I think the key word is win, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and if you're winning, then
it's funny, isn't it? We were talking about youth football. We're talking about doesn't matter results. That's a different game. Exactly. Now we come to adult football. It's all about winning. It's all about who cares about development? Who cares about nice football? Let's just score goals.
Already developed.
Yeah, you're already developed.
It's supposed to be anyway.
Yeah, supposedly. But you know what I want to talk about just quickly? The question to all of you with regards to the weather, and obviously coming into the months that we've got ahead, we had a pretty mild winter last year. I think we're going to be in for a cold one. We're going to be in for a wet one this year, and it started. The pitch conditions. Now there was a lot of hoo-ha last year, I remember, around grassroots football and the amount of money the government and the Premiership or the FA that are spending at grassroots football within the community. What's your take, David? Start off with you. What's your take in terms of artificial grass, and is there a need for it?
My personal opinion, for me to play it ain't my favourite surface, but for grassroots, I think it's a must. I think because this is the time of year now where all games get postponed, it ends up being a big, massive backlog. If we can get much more artificial pitches out there and available for the grassroots clubs, it's essential. It's got to be top priority.
Yeah. We've talked about this off air, but in terms of, I was looking at some stats before I came here today. It's one of them things. I'm sure over the next few weeks we'll see it all over the news, all over Sky Sports news. But 1.8 million play football every weekend. That's just in England alone. All right. That obviously the government can do more. The FA can probably do more. The way forward has to be in this country. If it says here 80% of amateur games are played on council-run pitches, but the pitches obviously aren't fit for purpose. A lot of them.
Yeah.
We can talk about Tower Hamlets. We can talk about other birds or wherever around London up north. The pitches, a lot of them aren't worth it. Teams and authorities like ourselves are paying a lot of money towards the management and the maintenance of these pitches, and they're not obviously being looked after. The other option was now 150 million were thrown. I remember last year mentioned that there's going to be thrown into grassroots football and developing 3G. I know it's not enough, but it's a start. Has to be the way forward, surely.
It is the way forward, to be honest with you. As David said, it's no good just sitting indoors not being able to play, especially with the grassroots football, because young people do need to play week in, week out to develop themselves. So if they stop, it doesn't help them overall. Me personally, again, I'm not it's not my favourite service as well in terms of I prefer playing in grass myself. But for the sole development reason, it has to go that way. It has to go that way. But a problem with the local authorities is a catch-22 situation. They're quite stuck in a sense, because they need the open space, green space, and also they need artificial grass. So they're trying to balance out at the same time. So there might be a situation where they can do it, but there'd be a lot of oppositions to that as well.
Yeah, but the issue, I think the main issue here is the cost factor, isn't it?
Yeah,
it costs so much for it to be built. It costs so much for it to be maintained. You've got the floodlights, but in the long run, I think initially the initial layout, yes, it's expensive, but surely in the long run it pays for itself.
Investment.
Yeah, it is an investment.
It does pay for itself, but what we have to understand, especially in inner city area, say for example Tower Hamlets, the space is not always there to actually have that kind of surface. What grass seems to happen is you can utilise it for football, plus it can be utilised for normal public for other activities or just to walk about as well. So the green space gets used in double ways in a sense. But if it's totally turned into football pitch and sole purpose with just sports, then it's not an open green area. So that's where the problem sometimes arises with the local authority.
Okay. Stuart, what's your take on it? Are you for or against? I know it's quite a big...
I think I'm for, definitely. I think it's because the hours can be longer for people to play into, because there's another factor as well, especially when the winter comes, the clocks go back an hour. You know, we struggle to do training with kids and so forth there. And then even the adults can play into the later hours and what have you there. And I think that can kind of help things as well there, definitely. I think it's something that they do need to really invest in.
Okay, because the reason I asked the question, obviously, when we're talking about kids football, myself, David and myself, we have the Sporting Academy boys. Now, this was the first week, and we've had torrential rain. It's one day of rain. Now, in the coming weeks, we're expected to have more rain. So potentially, there'll be no games next week. There'll be no games the week after, and before you know it, it's Christmas. So
the under-8s, the league got cancelled.
Yeah, it just totally gets cancelled. Now, if that was school, if that was education, if a child was to miss 6 weeks of school, imagine the impact it's going to have on that child. So hence that's why I'm all for artificial grass and artificial surfaces, purely for that reason alone, because you're then not cancelling games, and you're giving, for me it's more about going back to the fun aspect, and everybody looks forward to on a Sunday morning to playing football. And if you know you're going to play on a pitch where it's astro, regardless of the conditions, you got a game. It's something to look forward to every week, and like I say, it then doesn't hinder the development, which is what we're talking about here. I think from my perspective, that's my reason why I'm all pro and I'm all for artificial grass. Yes, I enjoy playing on grass, but if it's going to stop kids not playing on a Sunday, then I'm all for it. I think definitely that has to happen. But that's a bigger topic. It's more something we can talk about on another show. But going back to the other result of the day today, Aberfeldy, Elsa, again, we had Iqbal on last week, Shuel. Still continuing to lose. What's going on?
I mean, I think he was talking about it off-air last week as well. He's saying, I think reliability on certain players coming and not coming. I think it boils down to that factor there. I think what Ayaz was mentioning earlier, where giving that manager that headache, where you should automatically be coming to games and so forth, and they're not showing up, it's always going to make things hard for any team, any manager, and I think that's the struggle there. And Aberfeldy, we know what they're about. I mean, in the Summer League, they had a really good cup run. I mean, I think they walked away with the third division there. And I mean, we played with them a few weeks ago. They are a very good, organised setup there. And I think the result kind of just shows that as well for Aberfeldy there. So they're going in the right direction. I mean, they're tightening up at the top. Game in hand. Could be a 3-horse race there potentially.
Okay.
What's interesting about Aberfeldy is the young team, and they're all together. They want to play. It kind of reminds me of Newark back in the days when we were young. We all stuck together. We wanted to win. We kept on winning. It's that sort of mentality, and I think they've got that there this season. And in the Winter League, they are kind of like our rivals at the moment for that second.
Because they started off really slow. After a very good summer, they came into the CFL. They took a bit of time to find their feet, but now they've gone on. This is a
big run, I think, at the moment.
I think 6-7 undefeated, isn't it? They're still in the cup. My next question to you, Faisal, I want to ask you this. I think obviously you've got teams that are getting used to losing, let's just say. You know, the likes of IFE, Elsa. We talk about youth football and motivational factors and how important a manager is. How more so, David, you know, for us all of you, in terms of adult football and open age football, when you've got a team who's getting hammered every week and the bottom of the table, you're out of the cup, you've got nothing to play for. What is a manager supposed to do in that instance, and what are the factors that come into play? And in terms of, you know, what makes a good manager, and what do they need to do to make sure that team is still motivated to turn up on a Sunday?
I think he needs to instill belief in the players that they can compete. That's the thing. When they're competing on the pitch, it's 11 versus 11. You never know. Sometimes a good team can have a bad game, so where a bad team can have a good game. So it can turn out like that. So in terms of the manager, if he can motivate, get the best out of them, playing like IFE, the way they've, you know, last 3 weeks they've been knocking on other teams for that point, and eventually this week they've won. So, and with 10 players, so you know, you can see almost, if you want it, you can have it. It's how much the players want it.
Yeah. Okay. Same question to you, David. Regards to, I know we mentioned, but adult football.
Yeah,
it's a total different kettle of fish, isn't it?
I think it's more of a social thing, to be fair, because I think like if you're rubbish, you know you're rubbish. You know, you get together. It's more of a social when you get together, and if you get a draw or you score a goal. It's more highlighted, you know. But I think it's a perfect opportunity for friends to get together and play a game of football. You know, we're not all the best football players. We're all at different varying abilities, so not everyone's going to be able to win every week. You know, so taking that into consideration, it's about going in there, being with your friends, just playing a game of football, because we all like to play a game of football. You know, obviously, if we're getting beat 10-0 or whatever, at least if we're used to that and we know what to expect, then maybe our target is to lose 5-0. Then maybe our target is to lose 3-0. Then just gradually have slow different targets and have different aims for the teams. Basically,
well, that's a fair point, and I think, Sanaway, do you think that's what's happened at IFE?
Exactly what I was going to say. David just took the whole thing out of me. Yes, it's about small goals. You set yourself up small goals, not the big step to win the league straight away. It's about, as you said, it could be losing really heavily, try and lose a bit less, and work on small factors rather than thinking about winning a game. Maybe not conceding much, or maybe just getting one goal in one half, or working on one half of the game where you think, okay, we must make sure we don't concede, say 1 or 2 goals more than we did in the first half, and so on. So you build on small goals, and that should motivate you. And again, it's about social aspect. Again, we're not going out to win the league, but we're just going to enjoy ourselves and play the best we can and get whatever we can in terms of small steps.
That's a really important point. Sunday league football, and people forget about it, is that it is very much about, you know, up north it's all about pub teams. You don't really get it much. I've not seen much of it here. But up north it's all about pub teams, and if you see the state of some of these players, and it's literally it's ridiculous. You know, and
no matter what physical shape you're in, you still think mentally.
In my head, I'm a superstar. You know, and I'm Ronaldo.
That's what it's about. It's about still living the dream.
Fun, and hopefully teams realise that. And you know, you mentioned IFE being a team that might not be the best footballing team, but they seem to. The communication and the camaraderie on the pitch is probably second to none, and it's showing. And you know, we're talking about small steps. Today was the first one. You know, IFE got the first 3 points. We were asking for a point. You got 3 points, guys. You're only 1 point behind Elsa, who seem to be struggling. So I guess the next step now is, can you get your next point, and can you get above Elsa? That's your target.
Were they losing bad, or were they losing consistently?
No, they were losing consistently, but they weren't losing badly. They were losing very narrowly by the odd goal.
Yeah, that ain't too bad. Losing by the odd goal ain't too bad, because you ain't that far away.
Exactly. Exactly. And we've been talking about it over the last few weeks. They just seem to be, like I say, it's they can shut shop at the back, because scoring goals doesn't seem to be an issue. Even against the better teams, they're scoring 2-3 goals.
I think against Brick Lane they got 3, didn't they?
So the top of the table, they scored 3 goals against Brick Lane, the team at the top. So goal scoring doesn't seem to be an issue. So your man who grabbed you in the changing rooms, not in any bad way, but the guy who grabbed you in the changing rooms, he's Ruel. Mate, can keep on doing what you're doing, score your goals, and who knows?
It's a shame we didn't have the cameras there today, because there's some really good goals from them.
Listen, we'll get maybe next week or the week after, we'll get the cameras down. We're running out of time, guys. Just quickly, I know you want to mention Newark. It's a massive anniversary for you guys this weekend. Do you want to just look at that camera and just tell the viewers what's happening?
Newark's 30-year anniversary this Saturday. We're just celebrating in Mulberry Place and Mulberry School, and it's between 1 and 4. So anyone who's associated with the club, if you would like to come down, invite yourself in. There's food and there's entertainment. As always. Excellent.
So you heard that. Anybody in Tower Hamlets area on Saturday, 1 to 4. Mulberry School, if you want to grub. And Sanavai, obviously, I think he'll be there. It looks like he needs a bit of food. Starving away there. We look forward to seeing you. Hopefully, I'm going to try to make it there myself. So hopefully we look forward to being part of it. And congratulations to Newark. That's 30 years, did you say?
30 years in the community.
That's a massive landmark.
Well done,
round of applause for you guys. So well done to Newark, and good luck on Saturday. It's a massive day for you guys. May it go really well, inshallah, with many years ahead as well. So that's it for this evening. Shuel, Faisal, Sanabai, thank you very much. It's been a brilliant show as ever. Thank you to the boys, the young kids. I think we had Cameron, the young man in the middle, I forget his name, Fayaz, and also we had little Kasim. Thank you, really well done, and big up to all the boys. Seoul FC, FC Osmani and Sporting Bengal under 12s. We shall hopefully keep an eye on you guys, see how you're getting on throughout the season, and maybe have you back on later on in the year. David, Thank you very much, sir. It's been insightful. Good luck for the rest of the season. Cheers. No doubt we'll definitely have you back on. See how the rest of the season goes. You'll be feeling better.
Hopefully, yeah.
Apologies
for my voice,
listen, you did really well.
Yeah,
you did really well. Yeah. I didn't. Other people at home didn't realise. That's it. Okay, manager, the producer's whispering, mate. What's wrong with him? Nothing wrong with you. He's saying you're perfectly fine. All right, guys. Listen, we're out of time for today, unfortunately. So until next week, hopefully we might not be here next week actually. So until the week after, we've got cup action on the 7th, where we've got some really big games and mouth-watering ties. Good luck to all the teams that are taking part in the CFL and Tower Hamlets Youth League. And remember, our academy boys. Thursdays, 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Get yourself down there. If any newcomers, welcome. Sporting Bengal our senior team take on Newham FC down at Mile End Stadium on Wednesday night, 7:45 kickoff. Get yourself there for 7:30. Promises to be a great match. Right, so I've been Imran Ghazi. You've been watching BFA's On The Ball show. Until the next time I see you, enjoy your football during the week, and I'll see you when I see you. All right, take care. Assalamu alaikum.